but I believe the great is still yet to come. I won't stop fighting, man.
Good morning, and welcome to the 43rd Breakfast Ball. I'm your host, Bob Cardia, and to my left, to the far right, the dashing Richie Stoltz. It's now actually, I'm getting used to it now, the no-hat Richie Stoltz, which,
It's weird.
It is weird.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's different.
I mean, the women are blowing up the internet now. So, I'm sorry. Yes, it's good. It's good luck. You look good.
Thank you.
Handsome young man. So let's jump right into the quote of the day. As long as you see yourself as succeeding, moving ever closer towards realization of another meaningful goal for you, you will stay motivated. We're going to talk about that today, guys, because today's podcast is the meaning of success. And we're going to go into how people view success. And it's interesting. If you don't view success properly, right, it leads to a lack of motivation. So we've talked about that kind of stuff before. Yeah, it's something we're working on with Rutgers guys, and how to properly view things. I know we've had four. I would say two definite and two halves of meltdowns of players putting just too much pressure on themselves. When you've done it as long as I have, and as Richie's now getting down the road on this too. You could definitely see, patterns. Yeah, but the idea is to overcome.
Yes.
Right. So, with that said, in a world where everything seems black and white, winners and losers, it's important to get the right pairing of success with effort. Okay, you should be all about growing forward, but not necessarily winning a specific event. Like, if you can grow just a little bit, right, in each event, you either win or you learn, okay? But I know it's a difficult concept for people to gather, but if you can just get something out of it and grow, steady success is the key to maintaining motivation. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that one actually relates to me pretty good, because when I was in high school, my freshman year, and this was out of nowhere, I wasn't this good freshman year, but I shot 75. The final tournament of the year
holes.
Came in, yes, 18 holes, yes. You should see what I did on the back nine.
So you're a freshman, you never know.
No, but I came in third in the county as a freshman, which was
That's awesome.
Kind of crazy. And after my freshman year, I never came close to anything like that. Like, that was like a breakout tournament for me. Like, holy smokes, this kid is good. But then after that, sophomore, junior, and even senior year, I finally played good the last tournament of the year, but everything else was kind of not as good as I wanted it to be. Like, there was no, I didn't see an improvement, but when you take a step back and looked at, say, my averages, looked at, say, my littler goals, I was achieving everything.
Yeah.
I was just, I wasn't winning like I wanted to.
Right.
So if I took it as, man, I'm just not getting better because I'm not winning,
Yep.
I would have went down a rabbit hole of disaster.
Yeah.
But because I looked at it differently and said, you know what, I'm not winning, but I am making these improvements like I wanted to, that's how I was able to keep pushing forward. Because, again, my first ever tournament win was with Bob, my junior year of high school, or college, not high school. My junior year of college was my first win with you. So it was
obviously,
like,
that's,
it took a while.
all right. Well, it's just mental preparation. I love your story because it's so true. I think you told a story one week about a guy that you played with who was the GOAT in high school and no longer is the GOAT. When you set your expectations only on winning and losing, you're really setting yourself up for failure. Because I remember when was it the 1 year Tiger? Well, it's just Scotty Scheffler this year. He won 8 tournaments. And you figure, hey, roughly there's about 50 a year, just about every week, of legitimate PGA golf tournaments. So he wins 8. That's 16% of the time, right? So if you're putting because they say in baseball, if you hit 1 out of, or 3 out of every 10, you're a Hall of Famer. In golf, if you win 16% of the time, you're considered to be the GOAT. If you're putting your expectations on winning every event rather than steady, improvement, you're really setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah. So, especially in this sport.
No, for sure in this sport. So it's funny setting yourself up for failure versus success. Larry's book, I'm reading it along the way, and we talk about goal setting all the time. Like, we're big into goal setting. Like, I write stuff down all the time, and then Larry's like, some people don't like to set goals. Not don't set goals. They don't like to set goals.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that was like a foreign concept to me. Like, what the hell does that mean? Like, so, I'm reading it. Like, this is almost pretty much a quote out of his book. When you set goals, basically you're putting yourself out there, right? You've already reached a certain degree of tension, anger, failure, fear, and trying to stay positive and go forward in the face of a goal is stressful for some people. But with that said, that's the point, and that's what we talked about last week: fear of commitment. Like, if you don't put yourself out there, if you don't set a goal, if you don't try to achieve something like that, then you're going to go nowhere anyway. So
thought on that is that there was a video I saw on YouTube. It was a guy who wanted to start going to the gym, so his goal was to go to the gym for 5 minutes a day. You're like, what?
Okay, well,
5 minutes a day. It's like, what does that do? Well, that gets him in the door. That's a little baby step towards his longer goal, because he just has to go for 5 minutes a day. He has to walk in the door, walk 10 steps on a treadmill, and walk out. People probably thought he was crazy, but that was him getting into the gym every day.
That easy.
And then but that's just like, when I think of small goals, that's something I think of, is that is something small and achievable that he can do every day, just to get him closer to his bigger goals.
Right. Yep. And I guess what might be the same story, might be a similar story. So each week they would add a minute.
Yeah.
So week 2 was 6 minutes. Week 3 was 7 minutes. And then finally, I think it got to a point where it was an hour. But if you do it that way, it's like incrementally build yourself into it. That's a great way to do it. So here's Laura's book, or Larry's book. Let's say Laura forever. It's Larry, I believe. Here is the key to success. I'm going to put on these. I don't know. Are these readers better, folks? I couldn't tell you. All right. Here's the key. By the time you get to this point, you've probably experienced frustration, disappointment, and doubt. Understand it's coming, and it's a necessary part of the process. Don't run from it. Attack it. I love it. That's what greatness does. I mean, you have to understand that there's going to be, frustration, disappointment. But rather than say, that's the old me again, that kind of stuff, which we hear every day, it's, what, I understand this is going to be difficult, but it's part of the process, right? If, again, we say it all the time, if thinking well or being great was easy, everybody be great, right?
Yeah.
So, Larry's guaranteed program for success. This is a guaranteed, Larry's guaranteeing it, by the way, but it's I didn't say Richie was guaranteeing it or I'm guaranteeing it, but he said he's guaranteeing it. And you know what? Bottom line, if you follow this, you're going to be successful. I guarantee it.
Is that a guarantee?
Yes. According to Larry, it is, yes. Mm-hmm. I like the guy's stuff, though. I really do. I bounce back and forth. I read lots of stuff. I went on a Pels kick a long time. Actually, we're going to do Pels today. We have Rutgers team practice every Wednesday. Actually, a team meeting every Wednesday. And, we're going to go back to doing what we did years ago. I believe I want to get each player to stand up during the meeting and address his teammates as to what being great or what, winning a conference championship would mean to them, or what are they prepared to do. So we're going to roll that out today, just
cool.
so you know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you. So Larry's guaranteed program for success, a process of experiencing success every day. And that's to your point, right?
Yeah.
5 minutes a day, every day. Okay. Number 1, have a dream of what you can achieve as an athlete. Okay. This is the long-term goal. Okay. Don't worry about it being realistic. All right. I love that too. If people tell me all the flipping time what I can and can't do, I mean, literally, I and my friends, like people who I grew up with, Bob, you can't do this or you can't do that. Why not? Why can? Why can't we have our hey, by the way, congratulations to us, but thank you to you guys. We're over 500 subscribers now, which is the first metric for YouTube in terms of being, I guess, monetized, for lack of a better term. We got there in 40-something weeks, so we're 2 months short of a year, and we're already there. We should be at 1,000 subscribers, which was our original goal, within the 12 to 18 month period. You're talking to two guys like Richie has some technical skills. I got none. Okay, but don't tell me no. Why not? Yeah, I said at a party the other day that I had a podcast. And one of the kids, oh, another podcast. I tried that, and I had, hey, good luck with that. How many subscribers do you have? I'm like, over 500. And she's like, what? How'd you do that? I don't know. Let me tell you what. We're just consistent as all hell. I put something out every day, right? I get up early, I go to bed late. That's how you get it done, right?
Yeah.
That's how Richie, I'll tell you, Richie told the story last week. Before he even had his driver's license, Mom dropped him off at the driving range, practiced.
Yeah.
That's how you get to where you want to be. All right, so I know what your big goal is. What's your big goal?
Play on tour.
Yeah, play on tour, right? But Rich, you can't do that. Nobody can do that. I had a guy we both know very well. Talked about one of our players, like, oh, he shot 76 at the Jersey Hammer, or whatever. He said, how could he ever expect to be on tour? Well, I don't know. He also made the finals of the USAM. I mean, the difference between good and great, and we're going to go over actually percentage numbers today at team practice or team meeting. What the difference between good and great is. It's roughly in certain areas less than 5%. So if you have the first 95 to 97% going in, and you stop because I'll never be there, right? Then you're just setting yourself up for a world of disappointment. Number 2, set intermediate goals. This is a Harvard study. It's it's David McClellan. He did this cool. He called it the potential test, the success potential test. Which I love how they name these things, right?
Success potential
test. Yes, it's on number 2 on my agenda for today.
Okay, there it is. I see.
Yeah.
Success potential.
I love how they name these things. Like Pell's names, like the percentage error index and all that kind of stuff. You know what the success potential test is?
No, I have no idea.
It's the ring toss game.
The what?
It's the ring toss game. The one you toss the rings over the bottle thing.
Okay.
That's the test. So what he did is he took a bunch of people and he did this is in terms of intermediate goal setting, folks. He brought people in with, I guess they got 5 tosses each, and they said you can stand as close to or as far from the bottles as you want to stand, right? So, love water. Okay. So the people that stood very, very, very close to it and just tossed it on there easily experienced very little motivation to continue. After about 5 tosses, like, yep, I got it, I'm done, walked out. Then the people that stood like 15, 20 feet away and threw it and got 1 or 0 on there, like, you know what, I took my chances, but this is just too hard, right? And then the third group, the ones that stood at a reasonable distance and tossed and were making, let's just say 50% or so. Those people wanted to keep going. They wanted to keep trying because they were going to go, I'm going to get 3 out of 5, I'm going to get 4 out of 5. They put themselves with an intermediate goal that was achievable. So they experience a little bit of success. That's the way you should set up your intermediate goals. Now you have the long-term goals, which are lofty, but then you have to experience success every day to keep up your motivation going forward. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, if you set a goal that's just too easy, it's, I don't know, you don't have motivation to achieve it. It's just too easy. You just kind of walk right through it without ever trying to actually make progressions. If it's too hard, you just get demotivated.
You quit.
It's whenever you make a goal, it should, in my mind, like, it should be like that top shelf, like I can reach it, but it's not easy. I do got to stretch for it a little bit. That's like my goal making, even in like the short term and the long term. It's something I know I can reach, but it is a little bit harder. Mm-hmm. It's not easy. It's not just going to come to me right away.
And Larry's point, I love it because some of these concepts. You ever wonder, guys, like the thing you wish you invented yourself,
Yeah.
like the gap wedge or the spork or something like
The spork.
Yeah, like oh, there's a 10-degree difference between a pitching wedge and a sandwich. Let's put one in there and call it a gap wedge. Like, yeah, great idea. Like, hey, that's $1 million idea, right? Okay. Or the fact that the lob wedge in Golf Digest studies is better out of the sand than a sand wedge. Yeah, just all kinds of ideas you wish we thought of.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, his deal is when you set up your goals, if you can make it so it's not easy, but not unachievable, or not easy but not unachievable, then you're going to have a zest for going for it. There's a desire to complete. So, again, it's the circle we talked about before. If you can stay motivated, right, then you can be more successful. But in order to do that, then you have to have goals that are at least doable in the intermediate and the short term. Now, number 3, set a short-term goal. Now, I do this all the time. It says complete your physical training each day, but be specific. I can tell you how specific I am. I've written down every single workout I've done since 1993. So that's over 30 years. I literally have calendars of every single workout I've done for over 30 years. And I write down what I worked on that day, whether it be back and bicep, chest and tris, whether I did ab work that day, every single day. And I'm on pace this year to cross my record for 365-day years, 339 days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to break that this year. So, physical goals. And be specific. Second, spend a certain amount of time a day improving on a weakness in a physical skill. So if you know your weakness, what would you do? Richie has no weaknesses, but just in your golf game, if you had to say the one greatest area that you needed to improve upon.
What do you think it is?
Well, that'd be putting.
Wow, that was quick.
You know how many calls I've gotten from Richie? It's some of weird hours, like 10 o'clock at night. He's like, "Coach, I gotta talk." And I'm thinking like my cat got run over by a car, or my mom's sick or something. No, it's I gotta work on my putting. Okay, which is fine. So Lair would tell you that you should set a specific amount of time a day, and work on that weakness. Yeah, and a finite time. So we know how we roll. I mean, our schedules. I mean, I've been up since 5:30 this morning, and I went to bed after midnight. Richie's the Cowboys won, but that's a whole. By the way, for those who saw that face mask call in the first quarter, how do you call a face mask on the wrong team?
Let's go, boys.
It's called America's team. Favoritism referee kind of stuff. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, guys, but come on. Anyway, next 3. Do some mental conditioning, and this is one that I personally need to work on. Be specific, like whether it be visualize for 5 minutes a day, or whatever it might be. Watch a motivational video, or Zen, or meditation for 5 minutes a day. Set a specific goal for time. Again, these are all the short-term goals, so be specific. Always give 100%. So, I have a story on this. I'm talking a lot today, but I'll indulge me on this one.
Sure.
So, I did the same thing with my golf routine that I did with my workout routine. Back somewhere around the same time in 1993, I was going to chart every golf practice I ever did. I went months doing it, and I wasn't getting any better. Well, the thing with working out, and my friends, the people that know me, I'm a relatively social person. And back in the day, before I was married and all that kind of good stuff, I was social. Like, guys, hey, it's Monday Night Football night, or it's happy hour, or it's this or that. I'd go out. Well, if Bob were picking me up in an hour and I had to get my workout in, I would rifle through that work. I'd take an hour-long workout and fit it into 40 minutes to get my shower to get out the door. But when you speed up a workout, you're burning muscle, you're doing all kinds of stuff that is actually probably good in varying a workout. Not so good in golf. Like I said, I'm going to hit a medium bucket every day. Oh shit, I got 30 minutes. Hit my 45 balls in a row, and I wrote down what I worked on. here's the thing. If you're not working with attention and intention, you're just hitting golf balls for the sake of hitting golf balls. You're not doing yourself any good. So the next one is give 100%. Okay, give 100% with attention and intention to every rep. You know this.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't, I had one lesson. This was funny. I started telling all my lessons, like I'd go through a whole practice routine. This is how you practice. This is how you don't practice. I tell stories from it. This is what I've seen from this guy. He's never gotten better. This is what happened with this guy, and incredible improvement. Like it was crazy. And I was telling the story to one guy, and he goes out, comes back next week. Did you practice? What's his answer?
Yes.
Yes, I practiced. Okay, how many times did you get out? I only got out once. Like, okay, what size bucket did you hit? I hit a large, but I only had 30 minutes. It was my lunch break.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there going, I told you not to do that.
Yeah.
That was one of the first points I made. Don't do that. Don't rifle through a large bucket in 30 minutes. If you have a 30-minute break for lunch, get a small and don't finish it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like it's that simple. Like I always say to people too, like not only am I saving you stress on your body right now from trying to not rifle through golf balls, but I'm saving you money.
Yeah.
Get a small.
Yeah. And mental anguish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
just get a small.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Well, you know this. How many shots are less than 100 yards, percentage-wise?
Is it 60?
Yeah, 60
Yes.
to 65%. So if the average golfer shoots 100, okay, that means you're actually only hitting probably about 35, relatively three-quarter to full swings. 35. How many balls are in a small bucket? 35. Okay, studies show if you practice something 60 times a day for 21 straight days, you can ingrain a habit. So if you take a small bucket and make one perfect preview swing, as we call it, not practice swing, right? Small bucket with one perfect preview swing with attention and intention to every rep, guess what? That is more effective than hitting a medium or large bucket with bang, 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 bang. Know this, live this, love this, right?
I taught a lesson, a little off track here, but I taught a lesson yesterday. Great guy too. I asked him where he felt like he struggled on the golf course. He just shot his best score ever, 49. So finally got it down in the 40s. He was excited about it, and he told me he played Westwood on the first hole. It's a par 5. He hits his tee shot right down the middle of the fairway. Let's go. Last time I saw him, we hit some drives. I'm like, let's go.
Yep.
Hits his next shot, 7-iron, just over the backside of the green. He has a chip shot for
He's
eagle.
over in 2?
Over in 2. All right. It has a chip shot for eagle. What'd you make on the hole? Bogey. I know if I hit my irons better, I wouldn't have made bogey. Like, what happened right next to the green? It took you 2 shots to get 470 yards.
We're
and then it took you how many shots to get in the hole from 10? I'm like,
you should have seen it.
Ah!
The other day. Look at this guy, man, just like short-sighted behind the hole. I don't understand what our guys don't get. Like, it's almost on the PGA Tour. If you're short-sighted, right? It's if you round up, it's almost an additional stroke. It's like 0.7 something, I think. So, like, if you're a PGA Tour player and you're behind the hole and you're short-sighted, you're almost guaranteed to add a complete stroke to your game. But the average guy, you don't get that. Yeah. Anyway, that's a story for a different day. Anyway, if you like, oh, by the way, if you get anything out of this podcast, okay, and you become rich and famous,
we get 10%.
you get 10%.
I had a guy ask me yesterday. He just signed up for his first lesson with me, and he goes, I said to him, we have one rule at the golf school. And he's like, what? When you're rich and famous, we get 10%. And he goes, does that count just for golf? And I was like,
Of course not.
Not really. Like, if you win the lottery and you want to help me retire, like, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah, because these things are very motivational. I mean, we spend hours a week doing this, folks. So, okay. Anyway, grease the palmer. Also, if you comment, I love the breakfast ball. Actually, I think Toby won again last week. Toby,
Go, Toby.
Toby's the best. So you're due a gift card, Toby. So you keep watching, my brother. Oh, and the hat you ordered for the breakfast ball. Apparently, there was some issue with the embroidery. They're fixing that. It should be ready by Wednesday of this week, just so you know they're going to send that out. So, which last point, if you want any of our breakfast ball apparel, which we'll probably be wearing next week on the show, you can go to the SouthJerseyGolfSchools.com and look up our South Jersey Golf Schools apparel and our breakfast ball apparel if you'd like to. Anyway, with that said, I'm your host, Bob Cartier. To my left, to your far right,
Dashing Richie Stoltz.
we will see you next week.
Glass of bourbon, ha ha. My bourbon, ha ha. My bourbon, ha ha. Alcohol, because no great story ever started with I'll have a salad.